So good morning, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed English. I'm here with my friend Daniel Anweiler. We are at Proper Coffee here in Bielsko-Biala, where we've already had our coffee and tea as we were doing our little kind of chat rehearsal before the video. But if you're in Bielsko, this is one of the best cafes that that you could ever hope for. They've got armchairs, they've got great coffee, and tea and cake, and if you want to make coffee yourself at home, they have a big selection of delicious beans from around the world. So go and check it out if you're in the neighbourhood. So Daniel's here today with me to talk a little bit about legal English. Legal English is a specific form of English, so if you want to study this side of English, you need to know a little bit about it before you go in, perhaps. So we've got a couple of questions for Daniel today. He's going to tell us a bit about legal English and what you might expect as a student of the subject. So first of all, Daniel, thank you for being here today. So can you tell us briefly what you think the difference is between general English and legal English?
Well, for me, general English helps you to communicate. That's the one thing. And legal English is the English that helps you navigate throughout the legal sphere and helps you understand the contracts. And let's put it this way: learning legal English is more for lawyers to understand contracts if you're not in the legal English background. So that's one thing. And English, for me, English is like the simple language to communicate.
Okay, so there will be differences in usage between general English and legal English, I suppose.
Yes, there will be difference in usage. Some words in legal English don't mean the same thing as they do in normal, regular English. Well, recently I've seen a meme on Instagram which presented a big document, and the sign was, you have to be a lawyer to write 200 pages and call it a brief.
Of course, yeah. So normally when we talk about the word brief, it would be as an adjective, right?
Yes, something quick, fast, small, not big and brief. In legal English or in any legal form can be a huge document.
Yeah, I suppose that would explain if anyone's ever wondered what a briefcase was. This is why we call it a briefcase. You see lawyers rushing from courtroom to courtroom with these brown boxes with a handle that then of course would hold their briefs. Yes, you should imagine. And another one that we looked at before was party.
Yes, party, well, you can call it a party and meet with friends and have some fun. Party in legal English is one side of the contract. So we have one party, then we have the second party, and you can have like a third party observing the contract or being involved in the contract on a certain point, like vouching for one of the parties. And if you have a party, it doesn't have to be just one person. It can be 2, 3 or 4 people, or even an entity.
So we use the word party then because we might not want to specify the number of people involved, or if they even are people.
Yes.
So we can take all of those together, lump them together and call that a party.
Exactly.
So we have the first party, the second party, and they're the ones who have this legal agreement.
Exactly.
And outside of that we have the third parties that could or might not interact in some way with the first two parties.
Yes.
Oh, okay, excellent. So Daniel, tell me, when you started learning legal English, when you started studying this area of the language, what were the biggest challenges that you faced?
The biggest challenge for me was transponding and translating the legal English terms into Polish legal system, because legal English is, and the books on legal English are based in the common law system. And the Polish law is based on Roman law, so the difference is, huge. They're the sides of the two sides of the same coin, but still totally different. So that was the biggest challenge, to understand the words. Okay, translate them. Okay, but they don't transpond one-to-one into Polish legal system.
Okay, so there's, as well as there being a translation of the language, there's a translation of the meaning and specific definition of these terms.
Because they don't exactly need to mean the same thing in Polish.
And how important is accuracy in your language? Because if you're talking generally to somebody and you make a mistake, I don't know, you use present perfect instead of past simple, or you kind of neglect articles, you still get your message across. So is that the same with legal English?
No, you have to be precise and accurate in legal English, because if you make a mistake, and being a lawyer for one of the parties that we, like we said previously, you making this mistake might cost your client entering the wrong contract or losing in court.
Okay.
So you have to master English in order to be able to use legal English as good as representing your client as you have to do it.
And I suppose as well, when we think about legal English, the language is going to be really formal. The register will be very formal. And what does that mean to, for example, the length of a sentence and the number of clauses in it?
The length of a sentence is usually longer when it comes to legal English, and you have to differentiate between legal English in common law system and legal English in continental Europe, because in common law the sentences are usually longer. Some of them might even be half page long, less clauses, and in continental Europe they tend to be shorter, but still you have like 3 or 4 lines of sentence, in which you have to use every word precisely where it should be, and the comma should be exactly where it should be, because if you don't put despite all the legal English, if you don't put the comma in the proper place, might mean totally different
It
thing.
could change the meaning quite enormously, couldn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that opens you up to problems further down the
Yes.
line. Interesting, okay. And then finally, Daniel, what kind of advice could you give to people out there who are interested in learning something more about legal English, so that they can start exploring this branch of the language?
If you want to learn legal English, my advice would be first to master English, like B2 or C1, C2 course, and then take the exam. Because if you want to master legal English, you have to master English first. If you, like you said before, if you don't use terms in normal conversation, it will be alright, you get your message across, but if you don't use the proper words in the proper order in the sentence talking legal English, it might just get all turn out not right for you, for the client that you have, or that sort of thing. So first master your English, then master legal English if you're interested in legal English. And if you're interested in legal English, not having any legal job or aspiring to any legal job, I would consider just mastering English, because legal English is such how to put it,
Like
narrow branch of English that if you don't use it, you might just not need it. But if you want to learn English,
Well,
just go ahead.
It's a fascinating area, isn't it?
It is a fascinating area, but if you don't use it, for me, not learning English just to learn English would be without any
Purpose.
yes.
So, what would you say is the biggest difference when you're approaching your legal English studies Because I know that in most regular English classes, there's a great emphasis on speaking. Of course, that's still important with legal English, but what else do students need to make sure they do?
They need to master speaking, of course. They need to master writing, and they need to master reading, because they need to articulate what they want in court or at the negotiation. They need to write it down, and if they get a brief, they need to know how to read it and understand that. So mastering that three elements is crucial for using legal English if you want to use legal English in any environment.
Yeah, so if you're a student wanting to do legal English, you need to be the kind of student willing to sit down and do a lot of writing, essentially.
Yes, writing, reading books, or listening to podcasts, legal podcasts is a lot of them. And well, that's why I said you have to master English in order to master legal English.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me today, Daniel. If you'd like to ask Daniel any questions from this video, please leave a comment below and I'll communicate with Daniel. He'll be able to give you a reply. If there's anything that we can make as a follow-up video to this, I'm sure Daniel would be more than happy to do that for free, or for the cost of coffee.
Tea?
Tea, of course, yeah. If you're in Poland and you want to follow what Daniel's doing in his legal career with his legal blogging, you have Instagram.
Yes, I believe. Instagram is at Daniel Anweiler.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the description. If you're looking at ways of improving your own writing skills, building your vocabulary in English, check out my book, 66 Lessons for Autodidacts. Again, the link is in the description. Thank you very much to Proper Coffee for the location today. I think that's everything, isn't it?
Thank you. And if you want to learn English, that's the man to do it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.